Watch the full version at thirdeyechampagne.com or Patreon. Langston Parrish Cooks was born in Harlem, New York on June 16, 1971. When he was a year old, he was renamed Tupac Amaru Shakur. His parents, Afeni Shakur, born Alice Faye Williams, and Billy Garland, were Black Panthers. Tupac rarely saw his father, and he believed after a certain point that his father was dead. Afeni struggled with addiction and couldn't keep a job. In 1984, the family moved to Baltimore, and Tupac eventually attended the Baltimore School for the Arts, acting in numerous plays and befriending a girl called Jada Pinkett. In 1988, the family moved to Marin City, California, and Tupac attended Tamalpais High School. He performed in many theater productions there as well. He did not graduate, instead moving to New York City in 1989 to become an MC. In 1990, he began touring as a roadie with the Oakland, California-based group Digital Underground. In 1991, he performed with Digital Underground on the EP. This is an EP release. And he was off and running. Tupacalypse Now, his debut album, came out in November of 1991 and was certified gold. In February, his second album came out and was certified platinum. His third album, Me Against the World, debuted while he was in prison in March 1995 and is considered his definitive work. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard chart. In 1995, Tupac moved to Death Row Records and released some of his best work with the double album, rap's first ever double album, All Eyes on Me. The record was certified 9 times multi-platinum. Tupac was a promising actor and appeared in Juice, Poetic Justice, and Above the Rim. Throughout his fame, he was haunted by various legal issues, including sexual assault charges and weapons charges. He was sued multiple times in civil suits, all of which he settled. He was briefly married to Keisha Morris, a marriage that was annulled 10 months after it began. In 1994, Tupac was shot at Quad Studios during a robbery. He blamed Puffy Combs and the Notorious B.I.G., and this provided fuel for the infamous East Coast-West Coast rap beef. On September 7, 1996, Tupac Shakur was shot in a drive-by shooting. He succumbed to his injuries on September 13, 1996. He was 25 years old. He left a legacy of art, music, and controversy. Tupac changed the landscape of the culture and the music. We are going to be doing a drunk tarot for Biggie and Tupac. So I'm not going to go super in-depth here, but I thought it'd be interesting to get a little bit of a taste. I'm wearing my super 90s outfit today because we are diving deep into the 90s, so that's not quite 90s hip-hop, but we're going with it. Let's take a peek here and just see what I can get off Tupac before we go into the drunk tarot. Okay, immediately he's talking and he's telling me my life was never meant to be long. I was living too fast. I was living too hard. He's telling me that. It was too much, too fast, too hard. I wasn't smart about things. He's telling me. I was hanging around with the wrong people. He's like, and he's saying I gave the wrong people too much power. I wasn't smart about things. But he's also saying, but I was never meant to be there long. I know I was never meant to be there long, period. He knew. And he's saying it was excessive. It was excessive, the life that I was leading. And had I grown older, I would have become the poet I was really meant to be. So he means a poet about life, not really like a poet. He's already a poet, but you know what I mean. But it wasn't meant to be in that lifetime. And he's going, I knew it. It was sort of supposed to be an excessive life, I guess. He's saying, well, no, I'm not supposed to be, but I chose it. I chose that path. I chose an excessive path. But the reason I ended up dying is because I was around the wrong people in the wrong place at the wrong time. He does not believe he was a target. He's giving me a big yes. He goes, nope. He's like, I took accidental bullets. He's saying he was a target in the New York shooting. He absolutely was a target, but he believes that was... He's like, oh, those people were fucked up. Whoever shot him, hopped up, fucked up. They weren't right. He's like, they were crazy. They weren't right. They weren't right. They weren't right. But he's saying the reason I ended up dying in Vegas was I was with the wrong people in the wrong place at the wrong time, period. He's adamant about that. He is adamant saying I was not the intended target, but they didn't care if they hit me. But he is adamant in saying this. They were not trying to kill me. I think he's saying they were trying to kill Suge. He's saying, oh, Suge's into some bad shit. He was into some bad shit. He was a bad man. He said Suge Knight, he's telling me flat out Suge Knight is the devil. That's what he's telling me. Flat out he's saying that. Suge Knight is the devil. Coming across very grateful. He says, okay, I can't wait to do some drunk tarot with you. You've done it before. He says, yeah, I remember that, yeah. But he said, it's no big mystery. He's saying it's no big mystery. He's saying, I'll take you back to that night. He says, it doesn't bother me. I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. But he says also, he's like, I want to tell people things that I miss about that world. Interesting. He's saying he wants to talk about, he's laughing because he's like, between the time you film this and the time you do your drunk tarot, months will have gone by. And he's right. But he's saying people, when you talk to them, they always talk about the afterlife, right? Yeah. And he's saying, I want to talk about where you are and what a great place that is.